I mass produce YouTube videos with AI, and AI writes the script. AI agents animate every graphic you see. AI generates the voiceover. I did not buy a tool to do this. I built the entire pipeline myself in a few weeks. And that is not even the interesting part. Let me show you what is. This is my software stack. I built every piece of it, not because I wanted a side project, because nothing I could buy did what I needed. We're entering an era where the software you use is software you wrote. Not because you're a masochist, because for the first time in history, it's actually easier to build than to buy. Here is a moment every developer has had. You are using some tool, Notion, Jira, whatever, and you think, I just wish it did this one thing differently. So you search for alternatives. You try 5 of them. None do exactly what you need, and then you do what everyone does. You give up and reshape how you work to fit the tool. You stop being the user. You became the tool's constraint. That happened to me when I started making YouTube videos. Writing, recording, editing, graphics, voiceover, rendering, 8 different tools, none of them talking to each other, each with its own subscription and learning curve. And I thought, what if I just build the whole thing? Software has gone through 3 eras. In the beginning, every program was custom, written for one mainframe, for one organization. Only big companies could afford it. Then the PC revolution happened. Then SaaS, suddenly one product could serve millions of people. Figure out what the average user needs, ship it to everyone. Enormous efficiency, but also enormous sameness. And now we're entering a 3rd era. Back to custom, back to personal. But this time, you don't need a corporation's budget. You need a laptop and $20 a month. The math flipped. Building used to be expensive and slow. Buying was cheap and fast. AI coding tools reverse that equation. And once the math flips, everything else follows. The average company spends over $9,000 per employee per year on SaaS tools, 106 different apps. Most people use a fraction of the features. You're paying for everyone else's workflow, not yours. A human developer costs $2 to $3 per line of code. AI tools generate equivalent code for a fraction of a cent. That's not an incremental improvement, that's a 1,000-fold cost collapse. In February 2025, Andrej Karpathy posted what he later called a throwaway thought. Fully give in to the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists. A year later, vibe coding is Collins Dictionary's word of the year and MIT's breakthrough technology of 2026. 92% of US developers use AI coding tools every day. And the market noticed. February 2006, over $1 trillion in SaaS market value evaporated. Satya Nadella declared SaaS dead. 15 years after Mark Andreessen said software is eating the world, AI started eating the software. So what happens when anyone can build? Let me be specific. I am not going to talk theory. I'm going to show you what I actually built and more importantly, why. This is everything I built in the last few months. A personal AI assistant that knows my projects, my schedule, my goals, a video production pipeline with 4 specialized AI agents, a budget tracker that reads my bank emails, a voice interface that connects the AI to my physical world, a video rendering framework I open sourced. Every single one of these exists because I hit a wall with an off-the-shelf tool. This is not a chatbot. It has access to my email, my calendar, my files, my budget tracker, my notes. It remembers conversations from weeks ago. When I ask it something, it does not give me a generic answer. It gives me my answer with my context. The difference between a generic AI and a personal one is the difference between a search engine and a colleague. One gives you information, the other gives you understanding. This video, the one you're watching right now, was partially made by 4 AI agents I built. A researcher that gathers sources and analyzes what's already out there. A scriptwriter that turns research into story-driven scripts. Animators that create every motion graphic you see. And an editor that assembles the final video. Before this pipeline, a single video took days of manual labor across 8 different tools. Now I focus on the creative decisions, the story, the pacing, the message. The agents handle execution. Here is one that shows why personal software is not just about convenience. I was using Remotion, a great framework for programmatic video, but their licensing changed in a way I did not love, so I built my own from scratch, open sourced it. Apache 2.0. Now my entire video pipeline runs on something I control completely. I made a whole video about it, link in the description. That's the thing about personal software. When you own the code, you own the decisions. No vendor can change the pricing. No acquisition can kill your tool. No terms of service update can pull the rug. All of this runs on a single machine in my home. Docker containers managed through Portainer, a private GitLab for version control, Obsidian for my notes, voice synthesis, video rendering, Memory storage, everything connected through Tailscale so I can reach it from anywhere. The infrastructure that used to require a team of DevOps engineers now fits on a mini PC. Containerization, reverse proxies, automatic HTTPS, the hard parts got easy while nobody was looking. In 2020, a writer named Robin Sloan built a tiny app for his family to share photos. He called it a home-cooked meal, not restaurant quality, not scalable, made with care for people he knew, solving a problem he actually had. That metaphor stuck. Because it captures something the tech industry forgot. Software doesn't have to be for everyone, it can be for you and your family, and your weird specific workflow that no product manager at a SaaS company will ever prioritize. Maggie Appleton calls them barefoot developers. People who aren't professional programmers but who build for themselves and their communities, like barefoot doctors in 1960s. China, not fully trained physicians but people with enough skill to serve their village. AI tools are creating barefoot developers at scale. And it's not just me. People everywhere are building. A writer built a family photo app. A journalist made utility tools without knowing what a variable is. Someone on Hacker News built a project manager in 2 hours. A developer built 15 personal tools in his spare time. This isn't a trend, it's a shift. Now here is where I have to be honest with you. Because if I just told you the good parts, I would be doing the same thing every SaaS landing page does. 30 to 50% of AI generated code has security vulnerabilities. SQL injection, hard-coded credentials, missing input validation. If you're exposing services to the internet, you need to understand what the code is doing. A developer named Stefan Miller built 15 projects with AI. Then he burned out. The maintenance burden crushed him. He came back months later and rewrote everything from scratch. More carefully, more intentionally. The lesson isn't that personal software is free. The lesson is that it takes discipline. Personal software isn't a replacement for everything. Collaborative tools, cloud infrastructure, anything touching other people's data. SaaS still makes sense there. Personal software excels at glue logic, niche workflows, and tools you use daily. The key is knowing which category your problem falls into. I have been maintaining my stack for months now. Things break, I fix them. Sometimes the AI helps me fix them faster than I could have found the answer on Stack Overflow. But the point is, I fix them because I actually use these tools every day. The maintenance is not a chore, it is ownership. You don't have to build everything I build. You don't have to build a home lab or an AI pipeline or a video framework. Start with one thing, the tool that frustrates you most, the one where you've thought, I could build this in a weekend. With AI coding tools, you actually can. And you probably should. The math changed. Building is cheaper than buying, faster than searching, and what you build fits you perfectly because you're the only user it was designed for. We went through decades of software being made for the average user. 100 million people using the same tool, each one wishing it worked a little differently. That era is ending. Not because SaaS companies are bad, they solved a real problem. But the problem they solved, that custom software is too expensive, is not true anymore. The era of personal software is not coming, it is already here. The question is, are you going to keep renting someone else's tools or start building your own? If this resonated with you, drop a comment telling me, what is the one tool you would replace first? I genuinely want to know. Subscribe if you want to see more of how I build this stuff. And I will see you in the next one.